So we just almost excited someone. Well, we excited 3 people a lot because they thought they were going to see this podcast live, but I just hit the wrong button.
It was 3 people? Whoa. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. There's a lot of people. So now we have to restart it. But then this is a professional podcast. So hit that intro button.
Hey guys, this is a mountain bike podcast, a mountain biking podcast, an MTB podcast about mountain biking. We talk about bikes, but in a way we don't. You never know it by the name. It's the Joey Podcast, now known as Joey Mountain Bike Podcast for search engine optimization.
Well, Shanae, how do you think our guest was last week?
Sonia was awesome.
I thought it was fantastic. Great. I haven't checked the stats or anything, but it was definitely on YouTube. It was one of our most popular podcasts. That's for sure.
Sonia's a big deal. I would say that. And she inspired me to go watch that show for
about
harder nighttime boners. Yep.
That's exactly why you want to watch it. Exactly. Mum's like, Shane, there's only one thing we're watching tonight. I think that's
it's in the comments, last week's comments, if you want to jump all the way to there. But do we have a guest this week?
We sure do have a guest this week, Shanae. And as like last time, I will be surprising you with this guest, and I have a couple of clues hidden up my sleeve as to who this person is.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
So, they want you to get out there and see places. Get out there and say, this is an audio podcast, remember, Shane?
Okay. Oh, yeah,
What is that painting? What is that painting behind you?
It is the flower painting at the Crystal Inn in Salt Lake City.
And you've got a couch. Hey, that's a premium suite. I see a couch. Okay.
Okay.
They want you to chase your dreams.
Oh, okay.
They are a veteran of van life.
Huh. Okay.
There's a sitting back again. Audio podcast, Shane.
There's a few people that live in vans.
Okay. They want you to take action.
That makes me think of Brian, Bkxc, but he's not a van life veteran.
And they are one of the true OGs of YouTube. Please welcome to the show, Brian Kennedy.
I'm live. I don't know if Paul knows the definition of veteran.
Yeah, what is veteran?
It's just to throw you off.
2 videos.
Novice.
I was like,
get out there. Hey, Brian, what are you having for dinner tonight?
I had some Raisin Cane's chicken fingers earlier, and I finished them before I started the podcast to make sure I wasn't chowing down.
I'm talking about what popcorn you're having during the podcast. You know, that started. I don't know how it happened or how it started, but it turned into this thing that me and Josh were just giving Paul crap about, and it spiraled out of control. I do have to formally apologize, not only to you, but the audience.
This is all this is,
I took it too far.
This is just an intervention about you constantly eating.
Well, yeah.
And the topic for today is diets. No, it's not.
Oh. Is Sonia waiting in the wings? Plant-based diet? Have you seen that Harder Boners show, Brian?
Harder Boners? No, I haven't seen it.
It's on Netflix. What is it called again? Game Changers. Yeah.
Game Changers. Oh, I've heard of it. I watched like the first 2 minutes of a Joe Rogan debate where like a guy who did the documentary and a guy who's like against it were on, and I was like, I don't know enough to watch this. So
she talked about that. She said it got real awkward for the guy that was against it, and she mainly focused on the nighttime boner hardness and girthiness, which
hang on.
We could all use a little more.
The word girth was not mentioned. I just wanted to
Well, the graph, they did the graph. They represented it like your hardness was this much. And then when you ate a plant-based diet, your hardness, like the graph was bigger, but it was a circle. So it was like represented in circles.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It's like, how are you going to get men?
Sonia water bottle.
Oh.
Sonia water bottle. Limits of our minds. I'm drinking out of it all the time, and I just realized I was looking at it. It's a little dirty. I need to start cleaning this thing out.
Literally drinking the Sonia Kool-Aid, you might even say.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. So now we have to find someone with Bkxc merch next week, and then that's the qualifier. Must have merch from previous week's guest. Shop.bkxc.bike.
Yeah.
Link in the description. One link.
Like, oh man, you're giving me links to put in the description.
Brian, Shane's job on this podcast is to make the links happen. So
He's the note man.
Yeah, say as many links as you like, because Shane has to go and put them in afterwards.
Time stamp it.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I should do a formal introduction. Welcome, one and all. Bienvenue, willkommen, and hola, I believe, is the Russian version. To the Jerry Podcast, version 2.0 with our guest, Brian Kennedy, across the countries, as you will know him as. Since Josh has abandoned us for training to become an astronaut, we will now invite a new guest to join in our wonderful, focused, and informative discussions about all things mountain biking, plus other topics. So we're still going to have me, Paul, also known as Paul the Punter on YouTube, and this guy, Sheyn, who sounds like this.
Hey, Paul, high five.
Oh, wait.
Come on. Yep, get it right. Oh, hey,
I
we
did
got
it.
some down below. All right.
It's like when you do the click up here to watch other videos. It's always left shoulder. It's just left shoulder. So we're going to jump right into it.
And our guest.
Oh, yeah. And Brian, you sound like this.
Hey, how's it going? I usually say howdy. I like saying howdy to people.
I thought you say hello, friends. No, you say friends.
Hey, my friends.
There it is. Oh, there's the soundbite.
So, Brian, where are you hailing from tonight?
You know, I thought about this. I knew this was going to come up, and I'm going to say I'm not disclosing the location.
Yeah, because people will totally hunt you down.
Kinda. It's almost. This will come out later and stuff, but like the pressure of the when are you coming here and the comments and there's a lot. Like I'm just like not full on anxiety panic attack, but there's just so many people and so many things and friends and people that I'm gonna miss. So I'm like, no, who knows where I'm at.
Well, we keep hitting you up to hit us up whenever you're in so and so destination. Hit me up.
It's my favorit thing. The
So
random
annoying
person I have no relationship with whatsoever. Hey, hit me up. Even if I went to your little YouTube channel and went to the about page, you don't have your email. I cannot hit you up.
No, I have
whenever you're in Arkansas.
Yeah, I have had one person turn around to me out on the trail and said, "Hey, I told you to let me know when you were coming." I was like, "I don't even know who you are." Hi, I'm Paul. Nice to meet you.
I'm here. I'm here right now. Let's ride.
It's like, yeah, I'm here. It's cool. I've done it. I saw your comment on that video from 6 months ago.
But Brian, you still read every single comment, every single message.
Man, you know what?
How?
So on the topic of today that Paul will get into, I'll have maybe a little bit more further explaining, but as of pretty much the couple days ago, I stopped reading the comments, and I feel free. And so we'll talk about it more later on the topic, but there's more to talk about, of course, on that subject.
Oh yeah. Well, I stopped officially today, so if you DM'd me, commented, I'm so busy with work.
You can tell you're busy. You look at the shirt. Like, that's a formal shirt.
I haven't even changed from work yet. Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't even gone into emo Shane, which is how I know
change.
you. Don't change right now. No, Shane, every week.
The microphone is in the way.
I know. For visual viewers.
For those nighttime.
No! Oh, God.
Yes.
We're not even monetized, but I mean, is there another step past being demonetized? I guess banned.
Yes.
Nudity.
Yes.
Here it is.
Yes.
No, yeah. So the topic for today, which we will get into after a number of faffs, what is Michael Cunningham V going to do if we just do it straight away, is finding motivation and some drive and some positivity. Because as Brian said, it was funny because I also had a similar revelation the other day, is that everyone just seems like crazy down and really angry at something. So we want to get into that a little bit later on. But let's keep it on for mountain biking, and let's talk about where we've ridden this week. Guest, Brian, you may as well take us away.
So I had a really good ride in Mississippi, Mount Zion, Mississippi. I got an email from Trail Freak on YouTube. He's a local Mississippian who has done a bunch of videos in Mississippi, and really pretty much the biggest unknown of all 50 states. There's places everywhere. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, Kansas, oh, Nebraska, Iowa. There's stuff in all those states, and I've had multiple people hit me up in all those supposedly flat states. But Mississippi and Louisiana were the two very wild card places. So I rode Mount Zion, Mississippi. I forget what town it's outside of, and I had a good time. It's a private place, so they're able to build jumps and kind of different features and stuff. It's flat-ish, but it has some undulations and stuff. I had a good time with Travis from Trail Freak, and yeah, it's going to be a good video.
Oh, perfect. Well, we'll put a link to Travis's in the description,
Cool.
and we'll also leave a link to Brian's Patreon, which for a measly $3 a month, which is no longer the price of Lara bars, you can get early releases and extended cuts, and I am a huge fan. I got into your Patreon for a completely different reason that we won't bring up again. It happened about 2 years ago now, and I've not quit it.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoy it. So it's money.
That's awesome.
It's money well spent.
It is the highest
cool.
compliment. It is the highest compliment to hear, like, you know, Alex from the Single Track Sampler. He always says, "Oh yeah, watch all your extended cuts." I'm like, Jesus, man, it's like, for people to invest that time and the energy and to know that I'm still making stuff that people really like is the best.
I don't go full extend. I only go full extended cut when I'm killing myself on the turbo trainer.
Yeah. I recommend it. There are little bits and pieces in the extended cuts that are funny or different things, but usually there's not full scenes. It's more riding. And for the trainer people or for people who can't get enough, it's better. But the early cut is usually pretty solid.
I definitely find like a long POV. Like I've tried music, I've tried TV programs, but like having something moving forward in front of you is like, it's a game changer. It makes it so much easier to do it.
I've heard it from several people that like you said, they try different things, and when you're like, you can watch the POV stuff and it actually kind of helps. I watched the Unabomber Netflix series. I had to turn on the subtitles. It's tough to like watch a narrative on the trainer. Yeah.
You can't focus. You need to be active in what you're doing. Yeah. I find them, Shane, I will recommend you the Moab Rocks races because there are multiple times where you've done it because it's so good.
No, I watched it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
On the trainer.
I did the turbo trainer thing with patreon.com/Bkxc. And I think I even messaged him, and I was in a line of a bunch of people that said, look, these are great trainer. But I really am only there on patreon.com/Bkxc to follow the drama between the YouTubers and the pros. The bad, I'm just kidding. I don't think that was you, Brian. I think it was someone else. But.
Okay, so moving on. Well, that's great. Shane, where have you ridden this week?
Oh, I just did another winter ride in Kokopelli with my boy Unprofessional Kyle, and
Unpro Kyle.
It was a little bit soft and slimy, but we got out. It was only 32 degrees, it was 1 degree Celsius according to the Instagram post.
Thank you.
Yes, I knew you needed that. But what about you, Paul?
Well, I sprained my shoulder last week.
Yeah, that's why you
come up.
Did the one video where you didn't do anything.
Yeah, no. So I was like, crap. And then you just go you open the book. It's like, manual machine. Right. Okay. Use this one. We'll talk about that in a second. But no, Brian, I went to a BMX track, which I love BMX tracks. I've never crashed on them. And then it was quite fresh because it's all dirt, this one that's in Abbotsford. Link in the description. No, I wouldn't do that to share. And then I was just going up the lip, and then I guess maybe I was trying to, because you have to pedal a lot on the BMX track, like that's the point. And then I guess, I don't know if I was pedaling or if I was kind of like instinctively carving up the lip a little bit, but my front wheel washed and I just went like, whoop, and it was all over before it even began. And I landed straight on my shoulder and went to the physio next day. It's feeling a lot better. I did CrossFit yesterday, which we can talk about. This is great.
No,
it's box squats, which are really tough. Yeah, so
Are
Shane,
those the where you jump up onto the table?
no. So you have a barbell, like the weights,
Okay.
weight, and then you kind of go down and sit on the box, and then you have to get back up again.
Oh.
We've never done those. Huh.
Oh yeah, I think the Rebel gym that I go to is kind of like modified CrossFit or whatever. But every mountain biker in town.
As we get on the subject of CrossFit, there's stuff that I did when I started like last year that we've never done again, like rope climbing or handstand push-ups. Like there's just so much stuff that they are constantly like we rarely go over the same workout twice. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I also did. So that was like the first bit, and then this is where I made. I guess this would be a moment for the Joey things. Like I'll save it for the Joey of the week because this was a Joey move. But yeah, so I've been kind of taking it easy. I think we're going to be good. And actually, some of the places are starting to melt out around in Squamish, which is great. Although there is more snow predicted, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Do you have a full mud suit?
Oh, Brian's! I know those. I have the same lights in my van. They go dim after 15 minutes. You got to keep pushing them.
It's been 15. Yeah.
Brian just went dark for those of you listeners.
Shane, what were you saying?
Do you have a full mud suit for when it thaws out?
Great question. I have the new Scott Storm waterproof pants and waterproof jacket. And I cannot wait. I had waterproof pants before. Honestly, number one recommended thing. Like I tried them. Well, when was it? 2016. Endura released these waterproof pants, and I was like, I think they're going to be really good. So I got them and I put them on, and I was like, these are really good. And everyone used to take the mick out of me because they're like, oh, apart from this one friend of ours called Ray. He said, yeah, we're taking the piss now, but I bet we'll all be wearing them in a few years. And sure enough, now they're like popular. It's so good though. You just take them off and everything is clean. Like, maybe your socks or whatever, but like all that bit of mud and mess, like I'm all for pants. Pants are great.
You just spray it down with a hose at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Like super easy. So no mountain biking for me. I'm still waiting for the VAT. Like the plan is I'm waiting for my new bikes, right? Plan number 1. Stuff is starting to arrive, so that's pretty exciting. And then the van needs to be finished, step 2. And when the van is finished, then I'm just gonna go off down south and then start all the fun and games. So,
overstay your visa and get arrested.
I have been, I know we've talked about all this before, but this will be the one where I'm like, do I just say like, hey, I'm just going for a month. I'm a consultant. I can do whatever I like. And then I can stay, like legally, I can stay for 3 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it just depends like who the person is on the, on the other end. So we'll see how it goes. Choose the
van
border.
life, baby. I'm getting into the van life now. I've got today was a perfect van life story that I could just like rant about on my own Patreon podcast, but I'm going to rant about it here because I think it's pretty good.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of moving parts, of course, but I'm just going to go for it. So this was the first time I had tried to upload via a hotspot. So I have Verizon, which is unlimited data, but they know when you tie it to your laptop and you start uploading. So I just had crappy internet 2 nights ago, maybe, where it's like you spend the whole night uploading at a crappy hotel and you wake up and you're like, it hasn't done anything. No. So I'm like, I'm just going to see what happens on LTE. And it blasted through like so fast because for every one video I upload 3. I upload the YouTube version. I upload the early version on Patreon, the extended version on Patreon. So 30 gigs per video times 2. So I'm like pushing 60 gigs a week minimum for my video. So it's like,
so much.
It is.
Wow.
It's going to be a problem. But luckily so far I've been staying at people's houses and kind of piecing it together. But this one, the Patreon video that went up today was like, I got to upload this. So I pushed it through. Then I got throttled. Boom. I get the email. You've used up all your hotspot data. I'm like, here we go. I know I've got the Joey podcast and I've got it. And so it's like, oh no. So I'm in undisclosed location A last night. I wake up. The van has about 9,500 miles on it now. So it needs its first service, which seems like a lot. It's 10,000 miles, get the first oil change. So I'm looking online. I book an appointment online. 8:30 a.m. this morning. I'm like, yes, I'm going to get this done. It's not going to be hanging over my head. I walk in. And so when I bought the van, they upselled me on this like gold platinum package for all these prepaid oil changes. So you get 24 oil changes over 4 years and other
24?
services. Yeah. So, and
That's
over other
loads.
services. Yeah, it's a ton.
Wow.
But I'm like, hey, how many miles am I going to do? And all the services are included too, I think. So it's like, oh, this service is $300 on its own. You're going to have to do 3 of these. I'm like, yeah, I'm a sucker. Let's do it. So I spent like $1,400 on this like package, right? Like, hey, anywhere in the country, I'll be able to roll into a Dodge dealership and show them that I've got the platinum plan. So you see where this is going, right? I roll into the dealership. I show them that I have the platinum plan. Oh no, we don't honor those. And it's like,
Oh no.
So it's only $55. I pay for the oil change. Like at first, I walk out. I'm like, no, okay, I'm just gonna go then. But then I'm in my car for like half an hour. Like, okay, so what they got me in? Like I did a schedule. I start looking at other dealerships all along the way, and it's like, oh, they're booked up till Friday. They're booked up till. So I tuck my tail between my legs, and I come back in. I'm like, hey guys, hey, do you think we can get that oil change you were talking about?
Oh no.
So they take me. It's all smiles. It's all handshakes and all good. Luckily, I didn't cause a scene the first time.
Yeah.
So I'm able to sit down in the lobby and edit the next video that I have to upload and get on Patreon like ASAP, which is great because it's this total juggling. The van life, you're always scheming. Everything is a scheme. It's like, how am I going to get the next Wi-Fi? Where am I going to get the next parking spot? Where am I going to take the next dump? Like all this stuff is just a scheme. And I can't imagine how people did it without internet. Like you're just boom, you're googling everything constantly of like, okay, there's this travel stop, this truck stop, I could do this, okay, there's a Walmart here. Like it's just this constant scheme of everything is plotted out, and it's been going pretty smooth so far, but today was just the example of crap. So oil change is done, boom, I get the video edited, which I'm stoked on, and it's Louisiana, and then I set the laptop back here on my bed, and I export the footage while I'm driving.
That's good.
Super dangerous. So the laptop's open, so you're not killing time, right? Like at least, because sometimes the exports take a long time, almost like minute for minute. So if it's 45-minute extended cut, yada yada yada, an hour and a half or something, maybe sometimes to export. So it's in the back. I got like blankets around and just trying not to stop hard, and so I make it to tonight's destination, and I roll in, I have dinner, Raisin Cane's chicken fingers, I think I mentioned it before. And the LTE, it's like a really nice part of town too. It's like all brand new. You can tell everything out here is like super nice and awesome. The LTE is fast and like, I'm like, oh sweet, this is going to be easy. I know my Wi-Fi has been throttled, my hotspot's been throttled, but I should be able to find something out here. So I like kind of drive. I'm kind of like have my phone open on Wi-Fi, and I'm driving around to different establishments and like, Culver's, which is an ice cream place. I kind of back into the parking lot. Ooh, they've got Wi-Fi. So I connect to like Culver's guest Wi-Fi. Nothing. All right. Okay. So I drive over, and I see a Verizon store. I'm like, oh, I'm a Verizon customer. I've heard Mo and Hannah, awesome MTB. They talk about, if you pull up to like a Whole Foods or a AT&T store, they have like super fast Wi-Fi. So I back in all next to the Verizon store. Nope, nothing. They're closed. So they must have turned it off. So I'm like, okay, next scheme. Here we go. Chick-fil-A. No, it's not strong enough. I'm like backed right up to the friggin' thing. And I know Paul has a Wi-Fi extender grabber thing, like $150 on Amazon that I will probably need to invest in, because I didn't see this happening, but it happened. Of course it happened. So, okay, next idea. Where am I going to roll to? Okay, Holiday Inn Express. So there's a couple hotels that are around.
Okay.
These like crappy enough hotels where it's like, you don't even log in. It's just free Wi-Fi. I'm like, okay, if I get close enough to a hotel, it's going to work. So that's where I headed. I get to the other side of the freeway, and it's a horrible place. It's like a horrible town.
No.
2 minutes on the other side, it's all this like a dump. And I have like full 4-bar LTE, but there's nothing's happening. Like data is not flowing. It's like bait and switch LTE. And I'm like, So I back up to the Holiday Inn Express, and I connect. The Wi-Fi is full on. It's full on Wi-Fi, and I back up, and it goes, enter your room number and your last name if you want to get on the Wi-Fi, or if you're a IHG member, just, put in your email address, you're good to go. So it's like kind of the rewards membership kind of thing. They want to rope you into that. So I'm like, I just could have signed up for this like a week ago, but no big deal. I'll sign up. The phone doesn't have any Wi-Fi or LTE. I can't even download the app. I can't even sign up. Like I'm trapped. So I walk next door. There's a Super 8 motel. I can't get on. They actually need a password to get into that Wi-Fi. I walk over to a Golden Corral, which is a crappy buffet place. No guest Wi-Fi. I'm like, yeah. So I get in the van.
Man.
I look up. I'm scheming. I had enough LTE for some reason for Google Maps to see that there's a Walmart down the street. Boom, down the street to the Walmart. Walmart is the road trip USA savior. It is really the best thing going on a road trip. Walk into that place. I connect to the Walmart Wi-Fi. Boom, I can actually download the app, like this app that's actually going to allow me to register and get on the Holiday Inn Express Wi-Fi. And then I've got time. So I'm like, okay, I still got time, but time is just shortening and shortening. It's like, hey, we got to eat this podcast. We got to do this at 8:30. So then I'm like, okay, I better take a dump now because I'm at Walmart. I'm here. I've got access. And I see that the women's restroom is closed for cleaning. So I'm like, I need to get into the men's room ASAP and just do what I need to do.
Hold on. Wait a sec. Why is the women's one being closed a problem?
Because that means they're coming to the men's room next.
It's like, they do women's first and then men's?
Yeah.
Ladies first.
It just seemed, because then you walk into the men's room, it's a mess. So it's like, they're coming here to clean this. So it's like, you can't even poop in peace because you're like, I gotta go. Okay, boom, boom, in and out. I drive all the way back. It's not that far back to the Holiday Inn Express. I connect. I log in. The Wi-Fi seems decent. Then I get on with Paul and we're testing it out and it's crappy. So
no.
So I get on my phone and we start doing StreamYard over the phone. I'm driving and it actually is like kind of looking right. I go back to the good side of town. So I'm back in the good side of town. This is over LTE. Place. It's not throttled. That is just one tiny slice of van life of just like, where's your next thing gonna cut? Okay, I got to do this and got to do that. So
you want to try doing all of that in Europe because mate, when I was like summer 2015, summer 2015, when I was being in the van for a long time, I'd go to like a World Cup and then I was like, well, I can just work from wherever I like now, and then I'd go to Schladming and because there was a race there, so I could watch all the race next week and ride. I was like, I'll just work from cafe, like big deal,
easy.
And then you try and find one, and it's just like impossible. They're like, Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi? Where do you need the internet here? And I'm like, but I understand your pain. But what was wrong with the Walmart Wi-Fi? I feel like you found the Wi-Fi. And then you went to get other Wi-Fi.
I would be too embarrassed to do a StreamYard stream in the Walmart, in the aisles of the Walmart.
Walmart.
Yes,
the selfie stick, just walking through the aisle. Yeah, that would actually be really good.
It'd be pretty Joey.
Yeah.
Have you found any apps to help with this van life experience?
Yes, someone suggested before I stopped reading all my comments. Someone had suggested Free Roam, I believe it is. It's kind of a rainbow-looking cactus. Is the I'm gonna switch apps here just to make sure we got the right link.
Well, I will fill one.
Roam.
I use the is it Overlander? Yeah, that's what I used,
and it tells you like parking.
That's like go-to, That's like go-to. We'll find places, and it doesn't use Wi-Fi. It doesn't use internet. I don't think.
I think once you it's like Trail Forks, I believe.
Offline.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I had like suggestions of like 3 or 4 of these apps, and they were all garbage. Like Park for Night, and like there was like 3 or 4 that people had suggested. And I'm like,
how has no one suggested iOverlander?
No, I hadn't heard of that one. So
that's so weird.
Wonder Free, whatever this one is, really nice because it tries to do more. It tries to be kind of a chat room, and hey, if you're passing through, like you could, and reviews, of course, that all of that has this, but it has a little nicer little edge to it.
I can see that. Well, so as far as your video uploading, are you still I mean, it sounds like your files are massive. Are you still doing your extended cuts and the Patreon ones in 4K?
Yes. I'm not backing down from that. You gotta keep the quality high. So, the other scheme I have, which I haven't used yet, is just, the great thing is I'm in America, and that any
I knew this was gonna come up.
You could walk into a post office, and I could just like overnight like an envelope with an SD card to my brother, and he can go to my house and upload something in 5 minutes. So it's not Viber at my house. Option. So it's like that you could really manage the data pretty well, but still pretty lucky to be here and not have any reins on me. Even McDonald's Wi-Fi is pretty good. If I had the balls to sit down in a McDonald's and do like a podcast.
Hey, now,
which I don't.
Speaking of having the balls to do something like that, I was on my way down to Moab for the first time. I pulled into this gas station, and there was a dude playing PlayStation in the gas station. Like, he had his TV, he had his PlayStation, and he was just gaming. And I was like, what? And he's just like, no fucks. I don't care.
America.
I'm just going to do that.
Right. It's like we're living in a society, and it beats you down so much, but you just screw it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna wear sweatpants and go into the gas station.
Okay,
that's my wild thing.
Wait, sweatpants. And on that note, we are going to jump into the first segment. Technically, second segment. I got it wrong last week. It's last week's comments, Shane.
It's last week's comments.
Yes, last week's comments, where we, unlike Brian, take a look at what you've said last week and read them out on air. So if you'd like to interact with us, then comment on our YouTube channel, the Joey Mountain Bike Podcast, and comment down like these people have. Brian, would you like to take a look at the document?
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
Our first regular listener there, right at the top.
Dad MTB. He had to say that I have
Where are you, Brian?
Oh, Brian, you haven't updated the document.
Update. You know what? I will take this first one as you update your document. But so Sonia Looney, she was our guest last week, if you haven't seen, but she was also the honorary guest, Joey of the week.
She wasn't an honorary. She was just Joey of the week.
Okay, she was Joey of the week because she got chain grease all over the wrong leg that's not on the drive side. And our favorite troll, the crashing mom. The weird thing is, I'll walk in on her, like I'll be working and I'll step out of the office and she's like chilling on the couch listening to the podcast, and it's the weirdest thing for me because I don't listen to these after we're done with them because we've already lived it here. But yeah, so it's awkward. But she says Sonia is just so fast, she's flinging chain grease everywhere, and then she followed up with, I know we talked about the nighttime boners on that Netflix show. She said, I'm going to have to go Netflix and chill now so I can see if plant-based diets really do produce firmer nighttime boners. And that is not awkward at all. And I know she's listening to this right now when this comes out. So
this is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, hun.
I will say, Brian, it's not the biggest nightmare if you can't see the comments.
Can't get it.
If you can't see the sheet, because wait, can you even read that? If I post that, did you see something?
Yeah, a little chat room thing.
Okay, there you go. Okay, read this one.
Adventures on a $700 hardtail.
Yeah.
To say, thank God you guys are back.
Oh, she. It's a she.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know.
Thank God you guys are back. The hospital has been bugging me nonstop, like you left them with some sort of season finale cliffhanger.
That's a big deal because they put the Joey podcast on in the middle of the night at their hospital, and the whole hospital floor listens to this podcast. So shout out to you, hospital floor, whichever hospital you're at.
Yeah, nurse's station. Yeah, she's a nurse, and she put this on, and then apparently, obviously, well, I don't think any of the mountain bike, but apparently she went away, and then she was getting texts like, "What was that podcast again? We want to put it on." While
we also went away. We also went away for quite a little bit too. So. Oh
yes, we sure did. Okay. Sam Webb with no extra number. If you remember, we were talking about Sam Webb 1, and I was like, "Oh, that's not his name." So people change their YouTube usernames from what we say, which I think is the funniest thing.
He was our listener-nominated Joey of the Week last week.
Yes. He bought a shock, and it was the wrong size eye to eye. And then, but it was actually a suspension tailoring company that sold it to him, which is nuts. So he says that update, I got the money back after another week, and I now have my eye, out for a shock that does fit. Oh, he's looking right. Okay, such an English phrase. I have to translate for you guys. He's got his eye out, looking for another shock that does fit. He's not going to name and shame the company, but it was a suspension-focused company. And he says, mad, I know. Cannot even explain how glad I am to be a Joey for a whole week. Well, Sam, I'm glad we've made your dreams come true. That's what this channel is all about.
But your time's up.
but that's it. Yeah, because now it's another episode. So who knows? Doesn't look like you've... Look, hey, it's not great to be Joe of the Week 2 weeks on the trot. That's for someone like Shane or myself to... Yes. Bear that brunt. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, right. We should jump in to our topic of discussion, which is finding motivation, drive, and positivity. Now, Brian is one of a very big influence in my life, actually. Many things that he has said in his videos have impacted me personally and helped change what I do full time, straight up. And I always enjoy watching the episodes where he drops in these little bits of just get and do it. Like, for example, Shane, in the Moab Rocks stage 2, this is the funniest thing. In the extended cuts, every once in a while, Brian will just go, oh man, I need to get on the trainer and I need to get fitter. And I'm there doing it. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, Brian, you're right. I should. Just another 30 seconds of this. Okay. And it's just so funny. So what better? And now it is January. Well, end of January now. Yeah. A lot of people get down at this time of year. There's less, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, to be completely accurate. Like there's less sun. People are generally staying indoors. They're not getting out, maybe doing exercise. They might go to the gym, but there's not as much vitamin D going on being produced by your bodies. And I've noticed this in my YouTube comments. People are dropping like just negativity, and I'm like, what are you angry at? Because it can't be this. I've just done a video about me bleeding my brakes in my garage, and it's pretty funny. And I don't understand why you're calling me an idiot. Like that wasn't the joke. So so we I guess we can pick up where we left off here. Talk about your comments, but then let's talk about it. Like, how can we find get up and go, I guess, at this time?
Yeah, it is. This is like such a interesting, interconnected thing. It's so interesting because Paul kind of made that comment out of the blue, like, oh, has anybody else noticed that the comments have been kind of harsh lately? And I'm like, yeah, man, it's been killing me. And it's so funny. It's as creators, as someone on this other side of the camera, it takes 100 comments, maybe 100 positive comments to outweigh one negative. And it's just the negative ones. They just cut so hard. It's impossible to know unless you walk that mile in our shoes to be like, after I've almost been doing this for 4 years now, and it still hurts me. It's just like, because I try to empathize and visualize that this person behind the keyboard that's writing me is like, oh, hey, they're like just like me, and they want to participate, and they want to like root me on or cheer me on or let me know about something. So when they call me all kinds of things, or just say something that just cuts so deep, it's like, it's so hard. So like I mentioned before, I had this crazy string of like maybe 6 just hard, like on Facebook somebody said something, Instagram, and I've already been pretty good about like, I don't even look at the comments on Instagram or Facebook, but YouTube, I've been dedicated since day one, reading every comment, replying to every comment that deserves to be replied to. And I was just like, I can't do it. And I think part of it is the ban. It just brings in people off the street. So, normally we're in our closed ecosystem of mountain bikers, and I've banned thousands of people, like I've got my ecosystem, my comments pretty dialed in, but then we got the van people that come in off the street and they're like, oh, blah, 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 and it's just like, shut up. So yeah, I'll take a break. I'll take a break for now. I'm sure I'll be back because I have gotten so much value out of the comments, but we have to be selfish about our mental health and where we want to direct our attention and how we're going to do this. And that all wraps up in motivation. And for me, I'm trying to think, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, before Christmas, I was actually, for the first time that I can remember, I was feeling down and unmotivated. I'm like, ugh. And I think part of it was I was just kind of sitting around and the van hadn't started. I hadn't gotten off and started doing anything. So it was very much like the devil's toys are idle hands are the devil's playthings. That's what it is. So I wasn't busy. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing. And I just got in a little bit of a loop of which is very rare. And I'm like, oh, I hope that never happens again.
Yeah. Well, welcome to my current world, because
people are just pissed at you because you're not letting them know when you're in their area to ride.
Yeah, you're not getting back to them.
Hit me up.
No, I think it is at the end of the day, I get some. I normally respond. Actually, it was Mike Levy on Pink Bike. He was the first person that I really kind of learned how to handle negative comments. And what he does is he always just agrees with the person. It's so funny. And then it's like someone will say oh, this guy blah 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 blah, and he'll comment below yeah, one idiot. Bulletproof. What are people going to do? But no, I also understand that it's people aren't actually angry at you for foam spraying your van. That's not what people are angry at. Something else has happened. Maybe during the day they got cut up, then they tried to buy a sandwich and there was none of their favorite flavor left, and then they missed a bus on the way home or something, blah blah blah, because the cars got impounded. I don't know. And then you come home and here's your video wait, what's going on? Woohoo!
Yes.
And they're oh, screw this person, and then and that's really it. But I think it's it's so easy to go that's why it happens. But also what can we kind of what can we find in ourselves to change that ourselves rather than take it out on someone else? Because that's when you're aggressive or you're angry, or you flip someone off, it's not because you're angry at them, it's because you're trying to talk about something that has affected you. And I think, is that it? Just talking is talking to each other. Is that? But Shane, you have an incredible relationship with your wife. How do you find motivation together?
You mean, are we talking YouTube, or you mean just motivation together?
Yeah, just whatever. We're best friends. Use it for mountain biking. Well, sure, to maybe stay on topic. But
as far as the negativity goes, it's even filtered down to my channel. I mean, I know there are different levels, and 1,000 views to me is amazing, whereas you're looking for 100,000. But yeah, the negativity really comes in. I'm just doing this for fun, staying up till 2 a.m. to make it happen. And I'm oh, really? I'm stoked on something. And then that happens. And I tell my wife, I'm I'm probably just not going to do YouTube anymore. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
And she does help me bring it. It's not she's yeah, you really need to do the channel. I think for her, it's more you need to do what makes you happy. And whether it's this or not, do what makes you happy. If you need to take a break from reading the comments, because it's I have to tell myself all the time, it's the internet, and it's so stupid sometimes. And I never thought about what you said about January and the vitamin D, whatever that is, not being produced.
What do you mean whatever that is? Vitamin D.
Vitamin. I don't know what the vitamin is.
Okay. It's because I don't vitamin.
Someone's got to.
You have no idea. How many? Speaking of that, how many comments do you think I get on the daily about aluminium or aluminum? If I say aluminum, people get angry that I'm not saying aluminium, and then vice versa. And it's just
I know.
You're just asking for it though, and 10 of those a day are from me.
Yeah, and this is what I wanted to bring up, Shane.
Me and Josh. I don't know. I mean, yeah, finding the motivation to do what we're doing, whether it be jamming it in to do this podcast at night, after a crazy day of work or a crazy day navigating Walmart's toilets, or or like trying to be like, yeah, I want to put out a video every week or every 2 weeks. I don't know. It's getting tough. What, Brian?
How do you find motivation in general? Like when you're like, when was the last time that you really like took yourself back from, let's say, laziness or something? You were like, oh, I can't do that, and then actually you turned it around and you did it.
Well, for me, it was I got to be the heaviest I'd ever been, and it was like November. I was 170 pounds, whatever that is in kilos, and I was like, I was just kind of eating whatever the crap I wanted to, and I was just completely unmotivated to take care of myself, and the riding outside was non-existent. And I think for me, the motivation to get on top of myself was, it's November, and if I do some sort of program through December, I'll be able to post a video right as January 1st rolls around. I'll be like, I'll have a video where a bunch of time has passed and I can say I did something. So that, I don't know, like, it's kind of contradictory to what we were just talking about, but YouTube was my motivation at that point.
Yeah. Because Josh also said he was going to do that video, and then he didn't, and we gave him crap about it.
That's just me.
Well, that is a good point, because you were taken to the edge, and I too had that actually. Probably around the end of December, I was getting back into the gym and I was starting Zwifting again, and then I remember I went to the indoor dirt jump place outside of Vancouver, and I rocked up, and then I got on the bike, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so stiff. Like I couldn't even, my back wasn't moving anywhere. Like all my muscles were just so tight. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. And I've got terrible mobility as it is, but that was like it. And then January rolled around, and me and my housemate Dan were like, this is stretchuary now. We're stretching every day this week. And although we haven't stretched every day, we've done so much more stretching than we ever thought we were. And now, like, I was even at the gym, and the guy's like, your hips have actually improved. Like, I can see it. Yeah, and I feel like so much better. But it's still like, when I did my shoulder, like the shoulder is kind of restricted yoga and stuff, which has been a bit of a bumder, as we'd say sometimes in England. I'll share that new one for you guys. And bummed and then, but it's like like tonight, like really what I should do when finishing this podcast is go and do the 20-minute stretching thing, which is not like, I always feel better after doing it.
Is it a video that puts you through this regimen?
Oh yeah, it is. Link in the description. Yoga. It's yoga for cyclists with yoga with Adrian. She's a massive yoga YouTube person, it turns out, like massive. But that yoga for cyclists one, straight up, it's no yoga rubbish. It's not like, oh, I like this bit, but then I don't like that bit. Like everything in there is just so good for cyclists. Like how we stay in the same position, it just hits each point. It's like 20 minutes. It's not that big a deal. And if you just do it, 2 weeks, I started to notice like huge gains and just feeling better, feeling looser and everything.
That's like the perfect amount of time. Yeah.
And it's, because if you go to yoga class or something, it's like an hour. And it's like, that's a big commitment, because then you got to get there,
you have to get a babysitter.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, okay, Brian, you're the expert on positivity, and it sounds like you just hit something where you're not going to read the comments. What are you doing, or what are you going to do to get that back?
So I'm thinking about this, and it's so funny how I've been on a roll. I think in my life,
can I give a suggestion?
Yeah.
As a super mega fan right here. When I think, was it like how you started your YouTube channel video? Maybe. By the way, I can do this with any YouTuber. Just try me one day. You said like that you were kind of finding yourself lying on the couch a lot, watching TV, and then you were just like, what am I doing? And you had that revelation. Is that
Yeah, it's like in life when I'm consuming, if I'm just watching a bunch of Netflix or watching TV shows or listening to audio podcasts and stuff, and just kind of in the mindless loop of consuming instead of creating, that's when I feel the worst. And you kind of might not know it. And it's kind of like the mindless consumption versus like reading a really good book that sparks your creativity, like Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, where you're like, oh, I'm going to go take on the world after I read this book.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it's very much when I start just, listen to this or listen to this, kind of the consuming versus break the cycle, get out, do some physical exercise, get outside, get some to-do list stuff checked off. Then you start to feel good. Because I've got my house back home. There's 1,000 things I need to do. It's just sitting there. It'll be sitting there over the whole year of like, oh, I need to change this, fix this, put in this, change this around. And, but actually making progress on those to-dos or like the email inbox, it feels so good. But then on the other hand, it feels horrible when you've got that pile of crap sitting next to you while you're editing your videos, where you got an inbox with 200 emails in it. And for me, it's like, stop everything, get this done, and work on it. But on the flip side, like right now, the past couple of weeks, I've just been go, 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 and I'm feeling great. It's like, there's no time to think. There's no time to be depressed. There's no time. You just go, hey, I got to ride with this guy this time. I got to get this video uploaded. Like, you're kind of in this, it's not stressful. It's just like, oh, I'm in the action. I'm in the shit. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's it. It's just by doing things, you can really elevate your mood because you're feeling useful, I guess. Is that that's probably a good way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah. And making progress. Making progress is such a huge thing. Cause like the dishes pile up in the sink or the grass isn't mowed. There's little things that you can get, little wins, and just stop everything. Like, okay, I'm going to take something on, but it's immovable sometimes, where it's like, don't want to get out of bed. I'm here. Just to take a nice long shower, and then, I'm going to have breakfast, and then, hey, it's 1 p.m. What the hell's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you goal set, Shane? Are you a goal setter?
I don't know. Maybe, I guess that means I'm not.
But you did. Well, I mean, you just said you set yourself a goal. You were like January, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, if I got something I really want to put my mind to, I do. And I like what you're saying, Brian. Like, I think I take that as keeping yourself busy in a very deliberate and conscious sort of way. And
intentional for sure. Because you can get totally caught up in this is what I have to do, and this is the versus like, hey, let's make progress. Let's focus on the one big thing that's actually going to make this happen, versus the 1,000 other things that are always going to be there, and that's kind of one of the things about reading all the comments. It's always something I love. I love getting so much out of it, but if I can make that go away, cut that out of my life for now. Weight's off my shoulders. I can go through. Like right now, I'm getting a ton of emails from people inviting me to go ride. So that is like weighing heavy on like, okay, I got to reply to these people. I got to make sure I plot them out on a map, which is good. I'm not going to complain about that, but it is a whole nother chunk of time of like, okay, dedicate this. And, but
that's intentional.
I think everybody goes through life very unintentional. I think if I look back at my career of like, okay, I went to journalism because I kind of like the news. That's why I got a journalism degree. And then I worked for a newspaper, and like it was kind of, I worked for a newspaper, and you kind of fumble through everything versus like, hey, what do I really want? What really gets me going? How can I drop everything and make that happen? And that's kind of what my life has been like in the past 4 years of just like, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to actually make this happen and bring it to life. And luckily enough, I was able to.
Yeah. No, I think I'm quite similar, but I definitely need a goal. I need to be chasing something. But then I always set myself, like, it's like, okay, I just need to get to that goal, and then we're good. Oh, got to that goal. Well, hold on. Let me just create myself a new goal post. Like all of last year, it was, it was BC bike race, and like that, there's just everything. I was just like this. But so when like two things happened and it crushed me, I was just like, oh.
Yes, because it was so much a focus and so much a mountain to climb. Yeah, versus little wins and little goals. Yeah.
It was very much a stack of cards. I realized that whole thing. If you actually want to do well, or as well as you can do, then it's a stack of cards, and that's just racing in general, which made me really realize, like, geez, like how do these guys that do it for a living cope? It's
everything
crazy.
Has to come together for sure.
But
I think
Oh, sorry. I've always been like the, okay, I'm working towards something, and then I'm just like, and then it's almost like I drew it down once actually. I've actually, I'll tell you what I've done lately. I've started journaling because I think that's something. Plus, my handwriting is terrible. I'm just looking at it and like, wow, when did this 2-year-old move in? And it's just, but once I drew down, I think it was when I was trying to move to Canada. It was like, that was probably the most stressful time I've had, because it was like, I just needed this. It's always, I'll say a lot of this. It's, I just need, or this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people listening will have said this to them in their heads. So anyway, I just need to get my Canadian visa, and then I can move over there, and then I can do this, and then I can do this.
Yep.
There was
I just need to get monetized on YouTube. I just need to get 100,000 subscribers. I just need, right? Yeah.
And then it was like that for 5 months, and it did my head in because I had no control over it whatsoever. However, it did work out. But that's what I think, like right now, it's like, okay, I just need the van to be done. I just need my new bikes to turn up for the year, and then I can go and do this. And I definitely find I know that's like that's not a not positive and not productive, but it's definitely not a functional way of like mind mapping to something. That's a goal.
Yeah, it's a very like, I'll be happy when.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly the same thing. But this is why having things like on Zwift, they've got a mountain bike program now. So mountain bike training, and it's a lot shorter because the other one was like 2.5 months, which is quite a long thing to try and work through. But this one is like, yeah, exactly. It was, I think it must be like 6 weeks or something. I don't know, can't remember. But it's something that is moving on, and I have a goal at the end, and I'm seeing the progress all the way through. And I think that, I think to your point about having kind of to-do lists and steps and stuff, I'll wake up and it's been 11 o'clock and I've just been on my computer in bed for 3 hours or something. Like, that's not, what am I going to do with this time? Like, how is this improving me forward? And then to-do lists. That's like the easiest way I find motivation. It's just like, I use Wunderlist, which is like an app on the phone, and it's just like beep, boop, 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 boop. I'm sure there's others, but this is just what I found that day. And you just have little things, and you're just like, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. And it gets me moving for sure.
There's a huge thing about habits. I think habits are the driver of everything, of like, boom, I'm going to get up in the morning and do this. And when you do it and you do it and you do it, it becomes automatic, and you don't think about it, and you don't struggle with it. And there's plenty of books out there for that. I just listened to one called The 5 a.m. Club, which was pretty good, but it had all this like parable stuff in it, and it was like a fake story just to kind of talk about the things that you should do. And so it's kind of, but there's a lot of good things in habits. And I don't know, fitness in general is the ultimate prove it thing, because you only rent it. Like I could be as fit as I can be, and then tomorrow I stop doing it and it all goes away. So the habits of getting things done and putting yourself in there. There's a lot of good books out there. There's no answer, I'll tell you that much.
So are you waking up at 5 a.m.?
No, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. I've been up till like midnight recently, but at least I've been in the central time zone. So, hey, it's only 10 p.m. back home. And I'm like, crap. It's bad when you're just in this loop. And then
that's how some people are, though. Like, some people just function better in the evening. Like, that's been proven multiple times. Yeah.
When I sleep in the van, like, it's still anxiety inducing, where you're like, oh, I hear people outside. Oh, there's traffic going by. Oh, I'm still up. I'm still thinking it's 2 a.m. So I haven't gotten normal enough to sleep in the van to be like, boom, conk out, I'm tired, versus.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. When I was tenting in Sedona last year, never again. But yeah, it was not so much that. I'm quite comfortable. Like, if I'm in an enclosed space, like, I'm not too bothered. But
if I recall correctly, when you were tenting, there were like a bunch of Americans.
Oh yeah. Okay, I take it completely back, because there was one night where I really did fear for my life. It was almost like I thought I was being pranked or something, because I literally got up into my tent and was like, read a book, and okay, right, tonight might be a good night's sleep. Moments later, I was like, oh, what? Someone's having a party. Like, what the hell? And then I get like a few hours passes after some sleep and people are firing shotguns. I was like, what?
Well, you did pick your camp partners to
BLM.
be Dusty Betty.
Yeah.
Dusty
That well-known redneck. Couldn't believe she was shooting a shotgun at. Yeah.
So what would you say are, for our listeners, the top tips are for finding motivation, drive, and positivity?
Be active with intention, and things like having to-do lists and accomplishing tasks, I think is great. I mean, sorry.
Cut negativity out of your life, whether it's your negative friends or your negative comments. If you can find a way to cut negativity out of your life and swim in circles with positive people, it's a good way to live.
Or question the negativity. Like, that's for sure. Like, my housemate said something about a video we were watching, and I was like, why did you say that? Like, do you think that was what you actually wanted to say? And he's like, probably not. I was like, yeah, okay, there you go. I think that's another big thing.
One big thing that helps me for motivation, drive, and positivity, all three, is a big, tall glass of water. Just saying. Just
tall glass of water.
Yeah, tall glass of water. Just, it refreshes you, and it's like giving you a clean slate, makes your body feel good.
Oh, that is nice.
You don't agree?
I see what? Yeah. Heroin.
Hey, that's great too.
Yeah, you could start chasing the dragon.
When it comes out of a Brita filter in your fridge, it's just
enjoy life's pleasures. Yeah. That's what I think. Enjoy the things that you enjoy.
Yeah. So if you're listening out there and are on this YouTube channel, comment below what you would say are your top things for finding motivation, drive, and positivity. Share, and we might read your comment next week if it's a little bit funny. Brian will not be reading any.
No. Well, I think that was a splendid segment. I hope everyone enjoyed that. And there's only one thing to do now, Shane. What are we going to move on to?
Roll the clip.
Is it you? Is it me? It's the Joey of the week.
Joey of the week, Shane.
As always, we start off with our listener nominations. Last week we only had 2.
Hold on. Yeah. Let's give them both to Brian. Brian, I'll copy them into the chat. Okay, I'll put, so it should be easy to see who the, it's managed to break it down into 3 comments for you on the chat. Yeah. So enjoy that
I'll start from the top. Michael Cunningham the 5th. I'm going to Joey of the week. I'm going to be Joey of the week. This past weekend, I went out to ride when it was 16 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And once I got to the trail, both my front and back brakes and my dropper cables were all frozen. I guess after my last ride and cleaning the bike, I didn't get all the water out of the cable housings. So they were just blocks of ice. It was a short ride. So my cables needed to be replaced anyways. So I spent the rest of the afternoon replacing all my cables and housings. Fun time. Wow. So we just happened to wash and stuff got in enough to freeze out.
That makes sense, I guess. Well, it sounds like mechanical disc brakes. Michael Cunningham the 5th. I think there's you're exposing yourself for a whole other reason of being a Joey here by having mechanical disc brakes.
Yeah.
Did disc brake oil freeze? Mechanical disc brakes. Wow. That's pretty Joey, Michael.
Well, maybe
Cunningham.
That is pretty Joey. I don't know if mineral oil or dot fluid freezes. Maybe. Unknown. But I have dropper post cables for sure. Like that would be done. But then again, well, I guess it would be in the lever, and then unless he has an external dropper post. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's all possible.
Well, if it was a RockShox reverb, it would have been done anyway.
Oh for sure.
Moving on.
If only they had a 1-up dropper post. Okay. Amazing. Okay, there we go. Brian, you have your next one. 3-up from Open Face.
Open Face. I would like to nominate myself. I've just upgraded my suspension with the push coil conversion for my Fox 36s, and then had the rear shock changed from the Fox EPS to the Cane Creek DB Air CS. On the first ride, Cane Creek provided a setup guide. I got to the low speed compression when I discovered that after 4 runs, I had the climb switch the wrong way. Climbing with it on, climbing with it on, descending with it off. All because I had the bike upside down when setting it up at home. I thought this sounded really Joey until I typed it out.
That's pretty Joey.
That's hilarious.
Open face.
Although, didn't we have this one last week, Shane?
No, we did. Did we? I don't believe we did.
Oh, maybe I just read it this. Anyway, still pretty Joey. That's for sure.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Open face.
You get a new shock and you're like, I don't know. It's like, you're like, I guess this is right. And then you're like, oh, okay.
Especially I do swear though, those Cane Creek ones. Yeah, I swear like the difference is not that much. And then you never know the Scott twin lock system is so good because this is where the Scott twin lock system is so good because it's on your handlebars and you can see it at all times. Hashtag more cables, please. Okay.
Well, we need another YouTube. We need another YouTube account with MTB. So Open Face, please change your name to Open Face MTB. Open Face MTB.
Maybe it's a makeup channel. You don't know. Could be a makeup. Could be a makeup channel.
That's true.
Open Face. Welcome to How to Improve Your Complexion.
Paul, we all know that you have a good nomination this week. What is it?
Oh crap! What was I going to say? Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, I technically was biking, just not moving. So the second portion of the workout at the gym was biking. You do 20 calories on the bike in under a minute, which is quite a lot of effort, Shane. I was putting out like 100, 110 RPM in quite a hard gear.
20 calories? What do you? What?
Yeah, like that's it.
Kilowatts?
One of the so they have like meters and stuff as a metric that the gym bikes use, and they also have calories on there. So yeah, I don't know how accurate it is or whatever, but and I was giving it big beans because and then you had to do that, and then you had to do some box things, and then you had to do these kind of weighted squats. That's the easiest way to make this not boring. And then you did that 4 times, okay? And I was like giving it big beans, like, guys, this is biking. I think I'm going to be fine on this one. So I crank out the first one, like finish it in like 40 seconds or something, like, oh, so easy. And then I did the next thing, and then I came back and I was like pedaling. I was like, only just finished it after 20 calories. And I was like, oh my God, really hard, really quick. Anyway, do another round, and I finished my second round, and I come back, and the guy, and I'm like having the 1 minute rest, and guy goes, you only have to do 10 of the squats, and you've been doing 20. And I'm like, ooh, what? Anyway, come back to round 3. I'm just like, couldn't even hit my goal. Couldn't even hit the goal. And I almost vomited. And I was just like, oh my God, what an idiot. And I was just like whinging and complaining, which is what I do when I can't do something. And I'm just like, ugh. Like and I said like, well, haven't I already done all the squats so I can just rest now? And he's like, nope. And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, full Joey move in the gym. I had to like stand outside because I really thought I was going to vomit. It was quite bad, but yeah, I was definitely giving it big beans. Like
those leg workouts.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of vomit in CrossFit?
No, I've been close, but I'm not really a vomiter.
I've never seen anyone puke either. I've been close, like one time, like seriously close, where I was like, oh God, no, I don't want to be this guy. And you walk outside and it's okay, but there would be a pile out there. But yeah, I'm so surprised that I've never seen anyone puke, and it's like kind of weird actually.
Yeah, there's some people that come and they go at their own effort, shall we say? Yeah. And then there's some people like me that's really competitive, and I'm sure Brian's the same. And just like, I'm gonna crush this one somewhere.
Yeah,
and then
we did a couple workouts that didn't have a score, and I'm like, I can go to the gym for this. Like, what if the competition thing is just it really is an awesome part of CrossFit. Like you don't know until you start going and you do it consistently, and you're like, oh yeah, it just gives you something to think about.
Yeah, it's really good. And when you can actually work up to like the numbers that you're meant to be doing, like that's
exactly.
where I am at. It's like, and like, so I've hit a couple of them sometimes, but when it's like weights and stuff, I'm just so weak and pathetic.
Yeah, it's crazy how heavy the normal stuff is.
Yeah. Okay. Shanae.
I didn't really ride, and I had the one quick ride.
Oh, he's fading out.
Oh, he's fading. He's fading. Internet, come back.
I'm surprised it wasn't mine.
Oh,
so come back.
hotel
Shane,
internet. Is that a Joey move?
Okay,
Yeah, you're back.
I think you're back. Try again. What? But right, Shane,
back?
we always have this where you say, "Well, I didn't really do anything this week," and then we always just pry a little bit closer.
Uncover. I can go. I
go for it.
I might be able to be. So it was in my video, but using the van, the induction cooktop. Like I didn't do any research. You know, I was like, I got electricity. I'll just use this to cook something. And I just happened to glance over at my battery and it was like, like just being completely drained. I was like, whoa.
There was
live and learn.
There was a secondary Jerry move, which I didn't bring up in the comments, but I'll bring it up online. When you were boiling water, why didn't you put the lid on the pot?
I didn't have a lid. I didn't bring a lid. So that is like, that totally keeps it in. And like,
or a fork.
Emailed me that as well. Yeah, I didn't have a fork. That was probably the best one. But I did get my XX1 fork from Walmart.
Oh, you bought the XX1?
Yeah.
That was
now,
sick.
I know this is a big ask to try and get some exclusives here, but have you bought a pee jug?
I have not, but I am using a pee jug from a previous. So it's kind of almost sacrilege, but.
Oh, what is it?
My
no!
What?
I used to have all the stickers on and everything. I've been
unbelievable.
Oh,
I can clean it.
It's tainted.
I can bring it back. It's
for audio listeners. For audio listeners,
tainted.
The original Bkxc water jug that he bought in Redemption 17 in an REI. Yeah, he's now using that as the pee jug.
I would say
the urination station.
You know, when you have to use the pee jug, it's pretty urgent, and you're like, "Oh crap, I've been holding it for a while." Yeah. I'd say the average pee is 30 ounces. Like this thing gets pretty close to the top, and I'm like, oh no, 32 ounces here. I drink a lot of water too, so.
Oh yeah.
I have the Louis Vuitton of pee jugs.
That's a pretty. You should put what's that that Janelle Van person that blew up on the internet. And she's got diamond encrusted things or whatever on hers. Yeah. Like that's what you should do.
Wow.
It feels really nice though, and so I've been digging it.
Well, and on
have you mastered doing it while driving?
No, I tried that one time back in the day, and I had to go so bad, and I couldn't go. Like it was like, oh, this is the way to hold your pee. You try to go while you're in the car and stop traffic. Like it was like dead stop Lake Tahoe traffic coming home like a Sunday night, and it was just dead stopped. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I actually had a Gatorade bottle. I had everything there, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And just nothing. I like had to fight to push it out. I'm like, yeah. And finally like got it, you know, once you get going. But man, it's crazy. Yeah, but I that's what's great about the van. You can always pull over, you can always find as you start driving around in a van, you start seeing, oh, that's where the truckers are all pulled over, and oh, there's actually a big median over there I can pull over in. And I had a nice nap at a rest stop yesterday, I think, while I was driving, just pulled over in a really nice rest stop. Like it was bright out, but inside the van it's dark, and you just conk out, and it's been good. I love this thing. It's very, very cool, and it's an evolution. But just having all your stuff, you're gonna love it, Paul. I know you've already been there, but it's so nice having everything. I'm still dialing so much in, and there'll be many videos about dialing it in. But I'm so stoked. It was the right move for sure.
Oh, I just can't wait. And mine is really like now we can see the finish. Like it's like, oh, we got the sound system. We got the sound system hooked up.
I'm jealous.
You wait till you hear this thing. Like I can crank this thing all the way up to the max on the and you can still hear everything. Everything is still
it's not
crisp.
blown
There's
out.
no clipping. There's no blow. Yeah, it's amazing. And like the sub under that's going to be the next van episode, which I can't wait to tell the public.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
like under the passenger seat, and like everything goes boom boom. It's like it's funny. And we talked about it, and we were like it's one of those things that if you don't have it, you don't miss it. But when you get it, you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool.
You sound like a 19-year-old kid pimping out his Honda Civic.
I know. This is the 19 watching Fast and the Furious. This is everything I've ever wanted. Just like, oh yeah, I can't wait for the body kit to be installed, custom paint job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have we decided on who? Well, should we decide on our listeners first for Joey of the week, and then between us?
Michael Cunningham V for not having hydraulic disc brakes. It's 2020. Yeah. Like, come on, we're done.
Agreed.
You can get a pair of Shimano SLX, brakes on anywhere for a reasonable price and have a far better life, enjoyable experience. So that'd be it. Hey, Brian, have you got any like one action that you would like someone listening to take? Like we could end it like this.
Because I'm all about taking action.
Yeah,
just like this summer, you can find a place wherever you are in the world. There's probably a place within a 7-hour drive that would be an amazing mountain bike destination. You complain about, there's no good trails around me, but do the Google Maps and see a 7-hour drive. It's a decent drive. It's not a killer drive. It's about a day. You could go find a trail you've never done. Maybe you've seen in our videos. Do it this summer. Make the plans.
Yes, that's brilliant. And Shane, anything you'd like someone to take action on?
The more that I do this and the more that I think about what I'm about to tell you, the more that I would recommend that you guys do. And I'll tell you, it changed my life. It's just that one good thing. If you really just do